In the past few years on Survival on Purpose, we've taken a look at a few different survival bows. Today's video, we're going to take a look at a crossbow, not just any crossbow, a really nice crossbow, the TenPoint Viper S400. This is a kind of a Mac Daddy crossbow. You know, I'll tell you how that came about, why I decided to look at this, coming up next here on Survival on Purpose. Welcome back to Survival on Purpose, your home for trustworthy information and gear reviews related to camping, survival, and general preparedness for regular folks. My name's Brian. Thanks for joining me. So, the folks at TenPoint were kind enough to send me this really cool Viper S400 crossbow so I could show it to you, check it out, and kind of start playing with it, working with it, and trying to improve my abilities with it. And we're going to talk about that, talk about why I think it's so cool, talk about the specs for it, and also talk about why I decided that maybe a crossbow might be something I'm interested in really exploring further. Right after this, Sportsman's Guide Military Surplus Minute, because these, by the way, are available on Sportsman's Guide at a very good price. But let's talk about the Military Surplus Minute, and we'll get back to this crossbow. So, as you may know, Sportsman's Guide is a channel sponsor. What you may not know is Sportsman's Guide also has the largest military surplus site in the world. And what I try to do in these little military surplus minutes is just give you some examples of the kind of things you might find on their military surplus site. So today we're going to take a look at a very useful item that I picked up on there, and it's the Belgian military surplus canteen. And this is just a standard NATO canteen. Just a 1-quart canteen with the covers and with the shoulder straps. And they had these as like new. They look pretty close to brand new to me. And 2 of these were like 15 bucks. So not a bad deal there. Just an example of the kind of things. I mean, I think last time we looked at some towels. It's amazing what you'll find on their military surplus site from the U.S. military or all over the world. And they have some really good prices. I always just think it's fun just to kind of get on there and look around. Sometimes you find some really cool stuff. You can really get some good deals on there. And you can save 20 bucks on any order over 100 bucks by using the coupon code Survival20 on Sportsman's Guide. So hopefully that's been about a minute, but just check out Sportsman's Guide military surplus site, or there any other sites. They have this crossbow on there too at a really good price. Okay, so we are back with the crossbow. I want to talk about a couple of things about this, and then I'm going to try to sight it in on camera for you to kind of show you what's going on. But this is a really special crossbow, and before we talk about it, let me just real quickly kind of explain to you why I decided to check out crossbows. And let me just give you my standard caveat first of all. If you're looking for like super technical archery type information, you are in the wrong place. This is the very first crossbow I've ever owned. I have shot a traditional bow a little bit. I'm no kind of pro, but this one, as I've learned, is a pretty high-tech crossbow. One of the things that really impressed me about it is, so let me just back up for a minute. I know I'm rambling. I'm going to try to cut the rambling to a minimum and get that out of the way. So you can look at your clock and you can post your comment that says video starts at X, but I think this is valuable information maybe for somebody. So one of the benefits in my mind of being able to use a crossbow is you can shoot. There are a lot of places, Georgia for sure has a lot of places that have archery only seasons, which start before the traditional gun season. So it gives you a longer period of time when you can hunt. Also, there are a lot of places which are archery only. For example, here where I live in the Atlanta area, there are some counties which are only archery. So it doesn't matter what the season is, you can only use archery. You can't use a firearm there. And most places, at least around here, this qualifies for archery. So that gives you not just an extended hunting season, but also extended hunting areas. But I don't know about you, if you've ever shot a bow, shooting a bow is a pretty skill-intensive thing to be able to do. In my opinion, there's a lot more to it than shooting a firearm, and a crossbow is more like shooting a firearm. I mean, you got a stock, you got a trigger, you got a scope. So basically, if you get it sighted in and you use the same firearm fundamentals you would use, it's going to probably go where you need it to go. A traditional, you know, Robin Hood style bow is going to be, in my opinion, it takes a lot more skill. So, and it also takes more strength, whereas this, especially this one, even if you have some physical disabilities or you're just not very strong, maybe you have an injury, this allows you to still hunt and put some meat on the table and enjoy your hunt. And the reason I said especially this one, because if you've seen some crossbows, they have like a a little rope thing. You hook on it, and you put your foot in this stirrup right here, and you draw it back until it locks. This one, you don't have to do that. This has what's called the AccuSlide cocking and decocking system, which means not only is it easier to cock, but it's also easier and safer to decock. And it does that because it has this little lever here, this crank, and you just crank it, and it's pretty stinking cool. And I'm going to show you that in just a minute, but that's one of the benefits, I think, to this. Let me tell you about the bow itself, and then we'll get to doing some of that bow stuff. So first of all, this is the system. And if you order this, it's going to come just like you see it. You'll have to mount this on here, but it comes with the bow itself with the AccuSlide cocking and decocking. This is the whole thing that makes it really cool. It comes with the arrow quiver that mounts on either side, and 3 of these carbon fiber arrows. These are center punch premium carbon crossbow arrows, and it comes with 100 grain field points. And it also comes with this really cool TenPoint adjustable speed scope, so you can actually dial the scope in for your arrow speed. And it's just really neat. This is also one of the shortest forward draw bows there are. By forward draw, that means the limbs go this way. They also offer some that go this way, but anyway, the hinge is at the front. And the length of this thing is just 32 inches, and it weighs just 7.5 pounds. The width, you can see how narrow this thing is. The width on this thing with it uncocked is 11 inches. When you cock it, it gets even shorter and goes to 7.2 inches, which is, I mean, it's just, this is as wide as she gets right here. We'll talk about the scope a little more, but it has lighted reticles, which is pretty cool. And then it's got different marks for 20, 30, 40, and 50 yards in it. It comes already pre-mounted. The only thing I had to mount was the quiver, and they do that because you might want it on your left or right. I'm right-handed, so I didn't want it in my way over here. I should have put it on this side. I don't know. Again, leave me a comment. Let me know if I'm a doofus. I know I'm a doofus. Let me know how big a doofus I am. This thing has a anti-dry fire on it up here. We'll take a look at that. Has a 2-stage, 3.5 pound trigger. It also features a micro track barrel, which reduces string to rail contact by 50%, which increases accuracy and gives you the longest string life in the industry. So pretty cool stuff there. I think that's all the specs for it. It shoots up to 400 feet per second. I think with the arrows I've got, the field point arrows, it's going to be about 370 feet per second. And the price on this thing, just get that out of the way, is about $1,500 list, but on Sportsman's Guide right now has it for $1,350. You save another $20 by using the coupon code Survival20. So there you go. That's all pretty much the specs on it. Let me just show you how this thing works, and we'll see if we can sight it in before the sun goes down. Okay, so I'm gonna try to get you some close-ups here so we can see this thing. I don't have a cameraman. I'm working off a tripod, so hopefully I'll be able to make it halfway decent. So first of all, you have a bolt release right here, and that, if you see the little lever there, that's how you see it catch that little pin. That's what catches it and locks it back. So the first thing you want to do is lower that, and then push your slide down like so. Okay, you push this slide forward. It's got a little knob on this side right here, and you want to push it forward until it clicks and engages the string. When you do that, you'll also notice the safety went back from fire to safe. So now, this is how you draw it. Down here, you get this little crank. You pull it out that way, pull it out this way. It's got a button on it here. You push that button, and you put it in here. Once it's in, go ahead and extend it out all the way so you got some leverage, and then start cranking. And as you crank, you can see it starting to, it's drawing the AccuSlide back, and it's also cocking the bow. You're going to keep cranking. Actually, they say to do this on the ground, so this makes it easier. If you put it down here like so, let me tilt you down. So you put it down here like so, and just crank it, right? And then I'm not my arrow out. That's why I maybe should put that knock on the other side. So you hear it click. When it clicks like that, that's it. You should, now you want to double check and make sure that the bolt catch is caught right there. See the little pin in the bracket, so it's in the notch. You're good to go. Now, what they say to do is backwind it 2 full turns. So we're going to go 1, 2. Then they say to push this little lever on the bottom right here, little lever right there, and until it clicks. I can't get it, I never can get it to do anything, so I don't know that it's done anything yet, but I'm just gonna take this out now. It's pretty much ready to fire at this point. This goes in up here like so, and just locks in there like so. I will say, if you're not really careful, you can knock that out with your hand when you're handling the bow. So now we've got the bow cocked. You can see how narrow it is when it's cocked. Now we're gonna decock it. I just wanna show you how easy it is to decock. So if you decide you need to decock your bow, you can do it safely. And what's really cool about this one is, crank it back up, release your bolt catch right here, push it down so that it releases. See it right there going down? That releases it, lets you unwind it. And then just unwind it, like so. So once it's released, you don't have to keep holding it. So let's see if we can sight this thing in. Okay, so before we get started, let me just show you the scope real quick, because this is what's going to be important as far as sighting it in. So the scope is like a normal scope, and then it has an adjustment here for windage, here for elevation. Here on the other side, it has a dial which allows you to adjust the illumination on your reticle. It has illuminated reticles, and I wish there was some way I could show you that, but I bought some things to hook on the scopes, and none of them worked worth a flip. Finally though, this is a speed adjustable scope, so it actually adjusts the elevation distance based on the arrow speed, and so you've got arrow speed indicator here. I'm going to set this one at about 370 because that seems to be what I'm thinking is the arrow weight speed combination for these particular arrows. So now let's load it up and see if we can put an arrow down range. First thing I want to do is draw the bow, so we're going to pull this out here like so. We are going to put it in here like so, push the button and start the cranking. Yeah, I might should have put those arrows on the other, that arrow quiver on the other side, I don't know. But so once it's cranked, go back 2, and then it sits to push that in one time and go back one more time. And it did, that little button on the bottom did depress that time. So let's collapse the crank back in here. So now we're ready to load an arrow and fire. And by the way, these arrows are special alpha knock arrows that you're going to need to use with this bow. I'm going to load it with the off color fletching in the groove, lay it down in the groove like so, and just slide it back until it touches the string, and we are good to go. One other thing I'm going to go ahead and show you, it's really important. This shelf here is to protect your hands. If you get your hand up in there in that string path, you could lose a finger. Okay, let's see if I can. I'm going to aim straight for the middle, and I'll be using the top reticle point because it's the shortest, just 20 yards. Right? Let's go have a look. Okay, we are really, really low, about 8 inches low, so we're going to readjust and try again. But the windage seemed pretty good, so the windage was good, so we're not going to mess with that. We're going to go with the elevation adjustment. We want to go up about 8 inches. I don't know how many clicks that's going to be, but it's going to be quite a few. So we want to go up. Click 0 is a ½ inch at 100 yards. So we're going to, let's see. We're going to go up about a quarter of a complete turn. Sit that on there. Back on there for a minute, and let's go ahead and draw the bow again. So once you fire it, your AccuSlide is going to be back here, and the way you're going to release that AccuSlide is to go ahead and push this button up here and drop the slide down. And let's see, should go on down. At least there we go. Let it fall straight on down, and then push it forward until it locks on the string. There you go. Now we can cock it again. Let's see if we did any good with our adjustments. Okay, let's try again. Thought I'd give you a different view this time. Let's go see. Okay, we only went up about 2 inches. All right, we're gonna go for it this time. Okay, I went up about 6 complete total revolutions, 6 twists of my finger. Let's see if we got any kind of improvement on the elevation now. Let's try again. Oh man, we're a little high now. We're above. Okay, so we're just going to go back down about 4.5. Oh man, we're higher. Going the wrong way. Okay, I think we're about 3 inches low now, so we might be getting to where we're going now. We'll go up about a quarter. Let's go get it. Okay, so obviously there's my first one right there. A little high. I think I went a little crazy on my adjustments. Then I went the wrong way there, back down here to about 3 inches low. So hopefully we've got that corrected now. Let's see if I can get these out of the tree. Oh, them suckers are in there, man. Golly. I don't think I'm gonna be able to get these out. So I've got this one here to finish zeroing it in with, and maybe I can put some pliers on them and twist them out. I don't know. I'll probably tear them up. These are carbon fiber. These are nice arrows. Probably $30 arrows. I just got 60 bucks sticking in this tree right here. Okay, finally, we're about a 1/2 inch high, so I think I'm close enough. I can go ahead and adjust that with the speed thing, but I will go ahead and knock it down maybe a notch or two, and take it back to 40 yards and see what happens. Okay, so we are at 40 yards now, and I am going to use a 40-yard indicator on the scope and see how well it does. Okay, so we are about 2 more inches higher at 40 yards, which means I need to adjust the speed up higher on the scope, because if it's adjusted for a lower speed, it's going to increase the elevation with the distance, because it's going to think it's going to drop more. So since it didn't drop, it dropped less, then I need to raise the speed adjustment on the scope a little bit. We're going to do that in one more shot, and hopefully we'll call the sucker done. Felt like I jerked it. Okay, I told you I jerked it, but the 5 miles per hour in the speed definitely dropped it down to where the other one was at 20, so I think it's right on. I could probably drop my elevation down a couple of notches and get it right on. But I definitely jerked it, but I knew I jerked it, so that's good. All right, so now I got to get those other arrows out. When ghosts sit around a campfire, they tell Chuck Norris stories. Okay, well, I think I've got this thing sighted in pretty well. Like I said, I knew I jerked that one the minute I pulled the trigger, but it's dialed back in to elevation correctly, and the windage is not going to change from distance. So, and actually, I'm really impressed with this bow, because the only time I had shot a crossbow in my life was a couple of times at SHOT Show, like twice, literally 2 times in my life. So, for having never shot a crossbow before, the transition from shooting a rifle to shooting this is absolutely seamless. It works really, really well. The only issues I had with it, to be honest with you, are when you want to get it ready to cock again, there's a button back here that you're supposed to push. It's kind of release the ratchet in here, and honestly, I never could get that quite to work like it was supposed to. You're supposed to push this down here to release that, and then push this button, and really this should just fall down. But you see it kind of catches, and I think that little release button there's just not working right for me. I don't know. I'm gonna have to get in touch with them, but you basically just spin it like that and it works. So, and then it locks in and you're good to go. But that could be something I'm not doing right. Either way, it works just fine, and I'm really impressed with the scope. Just the package itself works really well. So I'm actually going to do my best to take this thing in the woods hunting next year. I think this season is probably over, but I want to try to get out and do some hunting next year for the first time in a few decades. And I think I've actually got somebody that's got some land that's going to let me hunt with them, so that's good. And I think he's looking at a very similar crossbow himself, so that'll give us an opportunity to get out pre-season, pre-gun season anyway. Maybe get a little venison. So I just think it's pretty cool. Again, this is not a cheap budget crossbow. This is a really, really nice crossbow. It's kind of like the buy it once, cry once kind of situation. So if you're looking for a way to maybe get in the woods earlier, maybe get somewhere where you can't hunt with a rifle, or just expand your repertoire, then this could be a really good solution for you. That's the TenPoint Viper S400. And thanks again to the folks at TenPoint, and thank you for watching Survival on Purpose. I really appreciate the support. Once again, my name is Brian. Remember, survival's not an accident, so be prepared. I'll see you next time.